Hello, everybody. So I know you're probably saying, but Arjun, you've covered Project Liberal before, and to that I say yes. But last time I covered it, I was very sleep deprived. I was very tired, and I wasn't really making sense. And just the sheer awfulness of it, like, hadn't really sunk in yet. And I think I understand now what the problem is with everything they post. It took me a while, but what we came up with was uh, they have an inability to see distinctions based on circumstance. I think that is what you have to keep, because something like a recurrent theme I find going through this is they will frequently compare things like to try to point out hypocrisy, but the two things are not similar. They're not similar, or they're not related, or there's very important key distinctions between the two of them, and they just seem completely incapable of even comprehending that. Also, you have the same problem that like most liberals, classical liberals, do, where you have unqualified exceptions, like where you will just have they'll just go full totalitarian, or they'll just go fully against their principles. So their entire ideology is based off of not being pragmatists and being like 100% ideologically committed to something. Um, Being 100%. Sorry, I didn't just not look at the chat for a second, because if I look at the chat, I'm going to get distracted. Um, they'll just have random exceptions to it. Like it'll just, their whole thing is that they are principled. They aren't like Trump. They aren't like mainstream conservatives like MAGA, who are fascists, who will compromise their values at a drop of a hat. But they just have like these unqualified exceptions where they go full on totalitarian. So to start off with, before we get into Project Liberal, I just want to look at something that they shared on their page. We have the Repo Act. So I've seen a couple people saying that this was based and this was a good thing. So the House has passed a bill allowing them to just steal the frozen Russian assets. So at the start of this whole thing, they froze the Russian assets, which in and of itself is illegal, but Europe and America both froze them, and they've been trying to figure out a way to seize the assets. You had the cringy tagline, "Seize don't freeze," or "Freeze don't," or "Seize don't freeze," and they've been trying to grab it for a long period of time. The problem is they went to basically every international lawyer they could find. They all said you can't do that. It's illegal. You can't just grab people's property because you don't like them. You can't, what else? Yeah, like, you can't do that. You had lots of even, like, neoliberal publications were like, it's a bad idea to just arbitrarily steal people's money when you're not even at war with them. And a bunch of people complained about it, but now they've just decided, you know what, we're just going to take the 300 billion in Russian frozen assets, we're going to give it to Ukraine, and there will be no consequences for this. And I've already seen some pro-Ukraine people say this is awesome, that this is a great thing, because I hate Russia. And I just find it funny, once again, that we're like, this whole thing is like about my property rights and my international rules-based world order and stuff like that. And they just grabbed, this actually irritated, like more so than anything else regarding the series of votes we had on Saturday, this actually pissed me off. Because I'm actually kind of scared now about some of my investments. Because if you're Saudi Arabia or Turkey, or you're from any country that doesn't have gay marriage or doesn't have unlimited abortion on demand, America might at some point just decide that you're the enemy and freeze your assets with no legal justification, and then try to force you to do whatever it is they want you to do. So like if you're a country that has is a frenemy with the US, or slightly differentiates between them politically, they're going to freeze your assets and they're going to seize them. And they've said we can just do that if we don't like you. We don't have to be at war. Like, there's no evidence I saw that any of this was going to fund terrorism, stuff like that. Now, they will make the point in the Project Liberal page that this is okay because Russia is the same as when Japan attacked America at Pearl Harbor. It's exactly the same thing. And, like, the conservatives now who don't want to give Ukraine money, they would have said we need to just let Japan attack Pearl Harbor because it's the same thing. So the people who are saying that this is like awesome and stuff like that, and this is a libertarian, by the way, this is reason.com. I don't think they understand the forces that they're playing with here. Like I don't think they get. Now the U.S. is only taking what like $6 billion. Was it really worth $6 billion to completely delegitimize your financial system and to illegally steal people's money? And once again, even if I was... let me pick a country I really don't like. Let's say that this was like Venezuelan money. Let's say there was like $10 billion of Venezuelan money in a U.S. bank or South African government money. I would not be in favor of freezing and seizing their money, just because that's not how the financial system works. But so Project Liberal is, I'm convinced that this is the lamest attempt at grassroots organization I've ever seen. They made like a really big announcement once that they made $1,500 in a month. But this is really astroturfed. Apparently they're Harry Potter fans. They haven't gotten the memo yet that J.K. Rowling is a Nazi. So we have the Fox the Phoenix from Harry Potter there. We are a non-partisan PAC dedicated to restoring, promoting, and advancing liberal values in American politics. We'll see if they support any actual liberal values, because I kind of doubt it. Fight extremists on the left and right. I love how it's always a core part of their ideology, and this is the problem with anyone who's a classical liberal, is no, don't degrade Hufflepuffs. Hufflepuffs are like the guy who like works in a factory and goes to church on Sunday and has like 5 kids. That they're the salt of the earth people who make up society. It's like there's always an aspect of we have to crush everybody who doesn't share our opinion. Now, I'm not personally against that. I agree with that mindset. It's just if you're going to be like a libertarian, classical liberal, you have to like acknowledge that in order to make your system work, you're going to need some sort of police state. Because people who aren't heterosexual white males are not going to, middle-class white males aren't going to support your libertarian state. So you have advocacy, empowerment. Now, we looked at this previously. The Constitution must be defended from threats on both the left and the right. Freedom of speech is for everyone, not only those we agree with. We'll see if that's true. Always be intolerant of intolerance. I don't even know what that means. Church and state must always... Okay, free market capitalism. Democracy. Climate change is real and nuclear power will solve it. Liberal democracy is worth defending at home and abroad. We need to... I mean, that's part of libertarianism. That's part... Like, invading random countries and enforcing your values on them is free speech. It is free. It's part of the rules-based international world order. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, because we're going to have some physiognomy checks here. We're going to have... This thing, I remember when we looked at this last, like, there's some physiognomy issues we have here. I still don't know what this even is. Like, what is this thing? Why are his teeth like that? I've never seen someone smile like that before in my life. That's the picture they choose. I don't know. It looks like he's in either a dentist chair or he's in one of those things where they use the like the metal frame to hold your mouth open and your lips back so they can rip out your lips, your teeth. So we have that. We have this guy who, I don't know. I don't want to get sued for libel, but I'm detecting a certain physiognomy just from the way the eyes are. Um, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get sued, but I think you get where this is going. I would not want to leave this guy in certain places alone with certain people. We have this guy. We have whatever this person is. I don't know. This looks like it's photoshopped. I don't know. Like, it looks like his head was photoshopped under his body. Where are we? Okay, we're just gonna go through some more of these people. We have I don't know, some hipster girl. This guy. What is that? What is that? They couldn't pick better pictures than this. And then we have Joe Walsh and a bunch of other queer majority, the Reagan caucus, like Reagan Republican, the Freedom Works. So let's go to this. Okay, so let's start the cringe. Let's start the cringe. Okay, so liberalism, communism, illiteracy, fascism, racism, child mortality, poverty, and they're saving the kid. Is there a point that it's the only thing that prevents all of these? Like, that it stands against all these things? Because isn't American conservatism like also against fascism and communism? And fascism is a middle class ideology. Like, fascism came out of the German middle class as a response to communism. Also, specific ideologies don't normally appeal to poor people that much. Poor people generally don't really care because they are too busy trying to feed themselves. Any kind of ideology tends to come out of middle class or educated people. So, I mean, how many people on... Yeah, it means they will. Yeah, I get that. Okay, we're excited. Okay, so this one actually pissed me off. So, Ukraine's government is as oppressive as Russia's, maybe more. We're excited. Like, I like how he didn't even ask him to explain it. They didn't even, like, ask for sources, like, in the post and stuff like that. They just mocked him and they just said he was schizophrenic. And I mean, that is how you deal with people that you disagree with. Is you just mock them. Like, you don't try to have a conversation, you don't engage, you just say that they're on drugs. And we have Freedom House. We have Freedom House, which is the most accurate, fair, not funded by the State Department source ever. It's really convenient how every country that's allied with the U.S. is free, and the ones that aren't allied with the U.S. are not free. That's really kind of convenient there. South Africa is a free country. South Africa South Africa is a free country apparently. You could have fooled me. Like, once again, it's just, we're just going to post this random bias source and expect that. We have, okay, so his account was made in 2022, so therefore, it's illegitimate. That's an interesting thing. So if you created an account after 2022, that means that your opinion doesn't matter. I highly doubt that, given the last free election Russia was in 1999. How do you know that? Um, okay, so it's schizophrenia. They do not hold elections. Uh, no, they didn't hold elections though. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, Ukraine canceled elections. Yeah, they canceled it. They canceled the presidential election. It was supposed to be held on that date, and it was canceled because of martial law. Um, okay, that a president's term. So Zelensky has said that it's not the right time for elections. So they're just not having elections. Okay, so they claim it's part of the Constitution, which is the biggest cope I've ever heard. But I thought like the point of liberalism was to do it when it was hard, not when it was easy. Um, is when you're under these circumstances to show the strength of your values. But no, it's so like I guess their argument is if something's in the Constitution, it's legitimate. Okay, so we have Ukraine. Okay, so next we have the Ukraine kill list. Where's the Ukraine kill list? Because that is also something that they do. Uh, okay. Okay, My Road to Varet's Peacemaker is a Ukraine Kiev based website that publishes a running list and sometimes personal information of people who are considered to be enemies of Ukraine. Or, as the website itself states, whose actions have signs of crimes against the national security of and international law. So, I mean, in 2016, the Daily Beast far right source, far right pro Russia source, said that the website was curated by government law enforcement and the security service of Ukraine, so the secret police. Um, so, according to Tuca, the site has led to an arrest of 1,000 people since the site launches, which he claimed included many collaborators and people working for the Federal Security Service that would otherwise not be in any government databases. So the government of Ukraine funds a website that is an enemy list of the government of Ukraine that they admit has been used to arrest over 1,000 people. So Tucker is on this list. A lot of people are on this list. We're up to like 187,000. Who else does this include? We have former prime minister. We have opposition party leaders. Yulia Tymoshenko. She is on this list. We have multiple people who were put on this list days before they were assassinated. Um, yeah, we have a whole bunch of people, and a lot of stuff happened to some of them. Viktor Orban's on it. Henry Kissinger's on it. Or was on it before he died. He's probably still on it. So, I mean, how is it inaccurate to say there's not a kill list? Maybe it's not called a kill list, but that's clearly the intent. Okay, so, and then we have the church that was banned. Let's see here. So this is the far-right pro-Russia source. Ukraine parliament votes to ban Orthodox Church over alleged links with Russia. Banned the Moscow-linked Ukrainian Orthodox Church after Kiev accused it of collaborating with Russia. Denies the challenges leveled at it and said the draft law would be unconstitutional. It doesn't matter. They banned it. Now, what's interesting here is um, the he's so first they said that no, there is no oppression, there is no banning of religion. So where is the thing? Ukraine is open to all religious institutions. To which he said, where is it? The response is, well, they banned a denomination of Orthodoxy. And so then the response is the Moscow branch of the Orthodox Church is an FSB front, like it used to be a KGB front. I thought they didn't ban the church. So, like, what is it? Is it that they don't ban organizations, or is it that they do? And it's awesome that they ban them. Like, you guys can't have it both ways. Um, so, Russia invaded. Goodbye. That is that is the way that these people look at the world. So we've got the counter arguments that the liberals have come up with. Let's just go through these for a second. The account was made after 2022, so therefore it's wrong. Ukraine doesn't have a kill list, even though I just proved it did have a kill list. Ukraine didn't ban any religious organizations, even though I just proved it did ban religious organizations. Ukraine didn't cancel elections, even though they admit that they canceled elections. So according to them, the Constitution is sacrosanct, and anything in a Constitution cannot be referenced. It's just, yeah. Okay, so that is yeah. So there we go. That is the genius point we have from Project Liberal Part 1. Okay, someone references the Azov guys. Of course, nobody does that. So, yeah. Also, I guess they support forced conscription, like people being kidnapped off the street. That's compatible. So now there's this guy who's complaining. Pro-Israeli professor at Columbia attempted to swipe his card to go inside the liberated zone encampment with his supporters, and then he got shut down. Um, so I think what he's doing here is he's pro. They're angry that somebody is expressing their freedom of speech by disagreeing with Israel, because you don't have freedom of speech when it comes to Israel. Okay, so Donald Trump's dinner guest at Mar-a-Lago. Republicans against Trump. Once again, it's like, okay, so I don't know. There's some racism here. Like, why are they attacking a Mexican homosexual? Like, this is racist and homophobic that they're going after Nick here. Um, like this is anti-Hispanic, and this is actually, I don't mind Nick as much as I used to, but it is like, it is funny. It's, once again, I thought we were like okay with so what we're saying is Trump can't talk to people. Like, Trump can't talk to Nick. He's not allowed to uh doesn't. Okay, we have he did have a choice, Che. Okay, so let's get a choice: make peace for the sake of his people, their country, or their future, or make war for his masters in Washington, Brussels, Paris, and London. Be enslaved by Russia or freedom. He chose freedom. So, according to these guys, um, okay, so the agreement that was made um, was that Ukraine would stay neutral. So Ukraine not joining NATO counts as enslavement. Okay. Trump's not being persecuted; he's being prosecuted, deservedly so. That's great. Once again, it's Where's the comment I did? I remember. Sounds like the people who lock millions of black males up is what I said. So, what we're saying is guilty until proven innocent. Um, the fact that Trump is accused of a crime means that he's guilty of a crime. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Let's just cut the sarcasm for a minute. So, isn't the impression I'm getting from liberals is that Trump is guilty because he's been accused of a bunch of things? Am I wrong? Like, he hasn't been convicted on anything that I know. Like, the charges are bullshit. It's just that like what was it that Trump did? Like, if you start going through, and I've gone through, like, we went through the entirety of the Georgia indictment on stream. The indictment basically said that Trump was publicly communicating with elected officials, and that was a conspiracy and that was illegal, was what it came down to. Was it said you don't have the right to petition public officials and talk to them, was basically what it was. Um, he paid a licensed lawyer, it's called a legal fee, and left it on the books. And the jury will decide. It's just how it is. Sounds like something Putin would say about Alexander Navalny. Uh, so according to this guy, if Trump had sex with a porn star, that means he should go to jail for a crime he didn't commit. The crime is taking out a loan, paying it back. Lawfare. We'll just ignore it. We'll just the fact that none of this happened and still he decided to run again. Prosecuted for a crime with no victim. Yeah, 100 indictments just come out of nowhere. How normal is that? How normal is just getting a random 100 indictments? So 4 indictments with 88 charges say otherwise. So so now we're going with guilty until proven innocent. Columbia University students chanting, "Hamas, make us proud, kill another soldier now." So once again, we have, according to Project Liberal, because a couple people were protesting, that means that everyone who wants a ceasefire is a member of Hamas. Sounds good. Vladimir Putin's hiding place. Entrance hidden by bricks and rubble. Air vent fan. I don't get it. Could someone explain this to me, maybe? I don't actually get it. Is it that they want to kill Putin and put him underground? That's their honestly, I'm just gonna stop for a second. Does anyone is this a reference to Saddam Hussein when he was hiding in a hole? Is this that they want to bury him alive? I literally just don't get it. Venezuelan. Free trade is not the problem, it's the solution. How to make America poor again. Well, so I don't know. Once again, we have this whole, and we'll notice this throughout. These people have a child's understanding of how the world works. They believe that things are either black or white, and I can't believe I'm the one saying this, that there's no, like, there's either 100% protectionism, um, or there's no protectionism. There's no, like, selective protectionism. There's no protectionism against certain countries and not others. There's none of that. It's either we have 100% like protectionism, 100% not. Now, if you wanted to say that the tendency towards protectionism as a good in and of itself is is worrying, and that it's quite possibly will have negative consequences in the future, then we can have a discussion. But as I've said about this, I'm not the best. I don't understand. I'm not the best guy when it comes to trade. My understanding of NAFTA, and people can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I'm more than willing to learn about this, is that Mexico is included with it. If it was just America and Canada, that wasn't really the issue, because they're at similar levels of economic development. Throwing in another, like a third world country that has a completely different socioeconomic structure was not a good idea. I think is what the issue was. Recalls a story when Donald Trump, okay, how she almost stopped it by faking a medical emergency. So she was going to cancel a press conference? And they're celebrating that? Okay, freedom of speech. $1.50 stolen from... Okay, what is this? Let's see here. I remember as a 12-year-old waking up in downtown Oakland and realizing our car had been broken into, and the $1.50 I was relying on to buy a McDonald's breakfast sandwich had been stolen. Watching our leadership send $60 billion to Ukraine while waving another nation's flag is gut-wrenching. What about Americans? So, like, I think they might just actually be that stupid. That they don't get that it was describing... Like, it was... it's a cringy metaphor. Don't get me wrong. It's a cringy metaphor. But... it's very clear she was saying that when I was a kid and I had the first experience of someone stealing from me, it was horrible. I don't know. Like, that's... you do understand that dollars will be used in the United States. So, like, once again, and this is how fucking sick these people are. By the way, what kind of libertarian supports giving, like, trillions of, like, tens of billions of dollars to, to private companies who are welfare... If you want to talk about someone who's a welfare queen, it's the MIC. The MIC fucking sucks. Like, they're losing... America spends, what, like half the world's defense budget, and they can't outproduce Russia on anything? Like, it's embarrassing how bad they're doing. America and Europe together are just so far behind, like, fucking Russia, despite having way bigger populations and everything. It's like, where all the fucking money go? They suck. And this guy's like, oh, we have to give them more money because that's what classical liberalism is. It's giving it to uncompetitive businesses that scam the taxpayer. So that's very clearly not what she said, but these people are retarded. It's actually not even going... Okay, so I actually went through this. Okay, the other thing is the money is not actually going to Ukraine. The money is... Okay, so let's take this at face value. Let's say that they are correct. Let's say that they are going to give the money to to create American jobs. Once again, this is the fucked up way these people think. We have to keep the war going and keep tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians dying in a war that they admit that they can't win because we want to give money to the military industrial complex to make American jobs. Now, I will say a side note, because I have seen people say this, and I think it's bullshit. The people who are offended that there's a foreign flag in Congress, now, it might just be me as a Canadian. It might just be that I'm not, like, this is some kind of tradition, something like that. But I don't really get what's so wrong about having another country's flag. Like, if the British Prime Minister, like Charles III or something, was going to like, okay, so like Charles III or some British Prime Minister was going to like speak to them, and some people wanted to put up a British flag as a sign of friendship. I don't really get what's so bad about that. I don't get it if a couple people wanted to wave some British flags or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, people can... My issue with Israel is that Israel is a parasite that has gained control of America politically. And it's not friendship, it's servitude. I don't know, like, let's say Justo went there and they wanted to put up a Canadian flag. I really don't see what's so bad about that, but I might just not be American, so I just don't understand it. With Ukraine, it's because it's so fake and gay, and it's just this big, we're going to give money to the MIC. They don't care about the Ukrainians. I've proved, like, so often how little they care about the Ukrainians or any of the stuff that happens to them. Okay. RFK's candidacy may hurt Trump more than Biden, a surprising new poll says. Why? I don't get it. Like, okay. Is that supposed to... I mean, people knew that. Chained to block a Jewish student from entering the university. The chilling act of anti-Semitism echoes 1939, when Nazis blocked Jewish students from entering Vienna University. I thought, once again, we liked... So I'm just kind of curious. Like, so people in the chat, do you agree with me, or am I completely, like, off basis that I don't really see what the issue is if they put up some flags of a friendly nation who was visiting? Like, I don't really get how that's bad. I think with Israel, because Israel has made America their bitch, and because people act in the best interests of Israel instead of the United States. Yeah, and in this case, it's just... Yeah. So, once again, we're criticizing people for expressing their freedom of speech. Freedom for Ukraine is more important than cheap food and gas. Okay. I guess it's just an American thing, then. Cheap gas is more important than human liberty for you. Is it dual loyalty, though? Or is it... I don't know. I think the Israeli thing is... I think if it's just a friendly gesture, I don't see what's wrong with it. But you guys are free to disagree with me. So... we have to give... So the libertarian approach is... What? What? I actually don't understand it. Which way is this? Okay, because I don't really get if this is are they trying to say that gas and cheap food is more important than liberty? freedom for Ukraine, or freedom for Ukraine is more important than cheap food. And I don't get if this is ironic. And once again, people sometimes think I'm retarded when I'm looking at this page, but I think they're saying that people care more about cheap food and gas than about Ukraine. I can't tell though if they think that's a good thing or not. Okay, so we have, do you all know that women couldn't serve on juries nationwide in the U.S. until 1973? Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, I thank you, Anti-Annihilator, because I thought they meant that because Russia was being sanctioned, that was increasing the price of food and gas. Not that Biden was focusing on the wrong thing, because oil prices went up globally, I think, because Russia was sanctioned, and also grain prices and stuff like that, and some of the inflation we're experiencing, particularly in Europe, is because of that. So I thought that's what they were referring to. So we have Tucker Carlson as a young Earth creationist. I don't really buy that. I feel like they just made it up. Once again, we're gonna attack someone for expressing an opinion that we don't like. This is one of the most totalitarian things I've ever seen in my life. Liberalism doesn't fail, we fail liberalism. That is a fucking, like, scary. How is that any different from real communism? Has never been tried. Real liberalism has never been tried. I mean, true liberalism has never been. I actually didn't even see these. Kind of a weirdly religious mindset. Sounds a lot like commies. You're acting like commies. I didn't realize this was a satire account. My ideology isn't wrong. The people are wrong. Okay, then we have this. Here's a nice meme too. This is what I mean by these people who have no concept. These people think like children. Here's another childish, like, interpretation. The average medieval peasant working 20 hours for a pound of sugar. The average American working 0.03 hours for a pound of sugar. Now, I don't even think that that's the case. What is 0.3 of an hour? Would that be like 9? No. Like 5 seconds, maybe? I don't think that's true. B, it's okay. Okay. So sugar, if I recall, I think comes from Arabia, doesn't it? I think it's from Arabia. Where is sugar cane from? Or no, it's not from Arabia. It's from. Oh, it's from Austronesia. Okay, sorry, it's from Austronesia. I'm wrong. Okay. It comes from Austronesia and was carried westward until it reached the Middle East. I tend to associate it with Arabs because my understanding is that's where most sugar came from prior to the New World. So during the medieval era, I think the only source of sugar, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, please do in the chat, you could get some sugar from Arabia. If we're talking about cane sugar, because there's other types of sugar like honey. It's just something that wasn't really that widely available at the time. It's kind of like saying, the average medieval peasant working 20 hours to buy a tomato. It's like, well, tomatoes weren't really available. And even when they started to become available, it was taking a while to get it. So it's like it's not something that is comparable. If they wanted to use something that's comparable, maybe milk or bread or apples or bacon or eggs or something that was widely consumed then and widely consumed now. Sugar, my understanding, only really became cheap once they started growing it in the New World and exporting massive amounts of it back to Europe. So, I it's just it's like also, what is the point even? Like, are they just shitting on people like who like the Middle Ages? Like, is this just them shitting on people who lived back before modern technology? Sugar was rare and expensive commodity. Neither was available to the medieval peasant. Um, so reject tradition, embrace modernity. That's also, yeah, as people pointed out, how's that cheap sugar working? We, like you, are staunch believers in the freedom of the individual and the rule of a fair and just law. Well, I mean, they aren't, but whatever. You're okay. Here, this is beautiful. I'm gonna tell you guys something. If you're not a savage, you will only buy real maple syrup. I if anybody in this chat or in this channel buys corn syrup and puts that on their pancakes or waffles, then you don't know what you're missing. It's worth it. Maple syrup is expensive. It's more expensive than the cheap other stuff, but it is worth every fucking penny. Um, it is one of the few like fairly expensive things I will buy because nothing beats real maple syrup on pancakes or French toast or waffles or whatever. Now I want to have some pancakes. So I think I've said my grandfather is from a Mennonite background, so he knows a guy who makes his own maple syrup. So every year he gives us like a liter or a 2 liter wine bottle full of maple syrup. And it's fucking amazing. Okay, so this is Project Liberal. Remember how they said that there's no separation? They want. Uh, okay, I buy bulk brand from Canada. I save for it. Good. Okay, Donovan, you are a man of culture. You are a man of culture. You are a man of wealth and taste. Okay, so this is, they said separation of church and state. Your rights aren't a construct of society or of government. They are inherent to your humanity. No one, and we mean no one, has the authority to deny them to you. Where do these rights come from? They just exist. They just exist. It's not that they're granted from God. It's just they happen. So I posted. I'm going to need a citation for that. They probably won't respond, but it's just, and this is why, like, the secular, at least the like American liberalism, when it was mixed with Christianity, made sense, because the understanding of like of classical liberalism in old America was your rights come from God, they don't come from the government, and you have a duty to God, and society can only exist so long as you have a virtuous people. Like, you need to have a virtuous Christian people who are willing to make sacrifices and are willing to put morality above personal gain. And once you lose that, and once you start to have greedy people who vote themselves money and take from others and stuff like that, that is when your society begins to crash and burn. So, like, yeah. People only have rights because of society's consensus. We have rights. The question is, will we fight for them? Okay. I agree with the late George Carlin. What is it with fucking boomers and George Carlin? Have you guys ever noticed this? That George Carlin is treated like a god to baby boomers. I don't get it. They're a social construct. There's no such thing as human rights. Um, so it's just, yeah, it's just we just have them. Okay, so there we have that. So that's Project Liberal. Okay, so I don't know enough about the Jones Act, so I can't comment on it. Okay, we have some super cringe. Okay, we have this is gonna physically hurt. So first off, I don't like the physiognomy that we're seeing here. That's bad. So these are the things. When I was young and first started getting into politics, I saw the Republican Party as my biggest ally. I wanted a smaller government, balanced budgets, more liberty for all, free markets, and the defense of the Constitution. Then I watched the GOP nominate Trump. Then I watched him start a trade war with China. Um, Once again, this is a very childish understanding of reality, because this implies that China was not waging a trade war on them. Like China, like if you actually listen to what Trump said, and I read at least part of the book his manifest, like the book he said in it. China cheats. They manipulate market prices, so it's not as if there's a fair competition with China, because they do shit like devalue their currency. There's subsidies. There's all kinds of other stuff that gives them an unfair advantage. And he viewed the purpose of sanctions as in part to correct this. So it's the portrayal here is that China was a good boy who didn't do nothing. Then I watched him bribe our allies to help his reelection. Literally, that is what Biden did. Um, then I watched his violent response to the BLM protests. Okay, I'm going to have to see a citation on this one. Can anyone cite me where Trump had a violent response to the BLM protests? Um, so yeah, I just want to say to people, like, when did that happen? Also, BLM was like rioting and burning shit. So like, part of classical liberalism, I guess, is supporting people who destroy private property. I guess that's part of it. And like, I remember even back when I thought I was on the left, I always thought that the police and the army should shoot people who loot stores during protests. If you're smashing the windows on somebody's car or breaking into a store, the police should just shoot you. I don't care if it's a riot or it's a protest or whatever it is. You have no right to break down someone's door and take something that doesn't belong to you. Um, you just don't. I know this is like some like, and this is the argument you get with some left wing Catholics. They're like, well, when I was drunk last night at 2 a.m. in the morning and sleep deprived, and I was hallucinating, I read this thing and it said social justice, and therefore it's okay. I'm like, but no, the Ten Commandments says thou shalt not steal. You can't just take something that doesn't belong to you. That I watched him spend more than any president in history. Now, this isn't fair because Trump had to deal with COVID. So, like, once again, there's no context to this. Watch him try to stop the peaceful call to terminate the Constitution. Then I watched him attack LGBTQ. Um, okay, so next decade of my life, I will make the same thing again. So, this is true. So it's also this it's I call it neo-Solicism. So Solicism is the idea that nothing outside of your mind exists. Um that like, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Descartes. So Descartes was trying to figure out if there is anything that we can know for certain. That is, we could live in a world, and this eventually grew into the Matrix and the brain into that thing, where there is a demon who is controlling us. And the demon who is controlling us is making us see all these things. So everything around us is a complete and total fiction. And so Descartes did this speculation. His end result was, I think, therefore I am, meaning that the fact that I'm capable of thinking means that there is an I who is thinking. And so that is something that is self-evidently true and cannot be argued against. But we have this neo-Solicism, which is anyone outside of me is like a troll or a bot or in bad faith or controlled by Russia or something like that. And you will see this, and I've done videos parodying this, but the idea is like everything on the internet that you disagree with is just a Russian bot. And you don't have to engage with them, you don't have to talk to them, they're just bots. So here we have another completely liberal thing. So Ukrainian-born Victoria Sparts voted no on Ukraine aid today. Last week, her hometown Chernihiv was bombarded by Russia, killing over a dozen civilians. So, so this is their. So they're attacking this woman for having a different opinion than them. Once again, that's very classy. So this person's saying she's a traitor. Let me see here. Is this? I would be shocked if this person. Yeah, okay, he's posting about the oppression. There's an Israel flag. It's really interesting that that is who's posting it. So their complaint is that she voted for what she thought was America's best interests instead of the best interests of a country she used to live in. That is their logic, I guess. So if she had have given the money to Ukraine because she was born in Ukraine, that would have made her a good person, even though it was giving money to you know what you guys weren't in favor of? Giving money to fucking Hawaii. Once again, let's keep this in mind for a minute. And I think I did the math earlier today. They gave $61 billion to Ukraine. There's what, 1.5 million people in Hawaii? Isn't that like 45 grand per person that they could have done? They gave fuck all to Hawaii. They gave each person like $700. Rebuilding the bridge that collapsed in Maryland would only cost, I think, like $400 to $800 million. Like, they don't have the money to do that. They don't have the money to clean up East Palestine. No, and I said that in my my comment. I posted. I think you could take any one of these people and you could put a gun to their head and ask them how this will help Ukraine win the war, and they would not be able to answer. So they just all shit on her. She knows that Ukraine is corrupt. Exactly how does a corrupt politician hide a Bradley fighting vehicle in his pocket? That's it. So we just have to give them money. It's now, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't a lot of the U.S. military aid? Okay, so firstly, I guess every single piece of military aid America gave to Ukraine is a Bradley. Nothing else was given. No money was given. No ammunition. Didn't a bunch of that stuff also show up on the international black market? Okay, so I said my point on this. I disagree with this. My issue with the Ukrainian flag is otherwise. But you're perfectly fine with the Confederate flag in the halls of the Capitol. Yeah, but the Confederate flag is an American flag. Like, the Confederate flag is a flag of an American state. No, I'm glad to remind you, Doug. Like, I try to bring these people up, and I get that the Hawaiians probably hate me, and I get that they're like the most liberal state in America. But I try to, like, at least somewhat keep to my kind of Christian humanism. And those were people who got completely fucked, and these assholes didn't bail them out. Like, that is what government is there for. Is when shit like that happens and your home gets burned down and your state is a smoking ruin, and these fucking F slurs spend run up $1 trillion in debt every 100 days, and they can't throw a couple billion to Hawaii. They can't throw a couple million to clean up East Palestine, Ohio. It's disgusting. Like, it's once again the narrative is to, like, if your neighbor's house is burning down, you laugh at your neighbor, then go across to the other uh, Macedonia. Then you go to Macedonia and you give a kid on the street there $1, and that's love that your neighbor. Um, the far right versus the far left are similar. Both fundamentally hate the free world. Do they though? Do they though? I admit I actually am okay with the Indo-Pacific bill. Um, but uh okay, I don't really know that much. Would Milton Friedman like these guys? Like, would Milton Friedman like Project Liberal? I think that's an interesting question. If someone can answer that to me, I maybe. Okay, I wish I lived in the most free and prosperous time in human history. It is done. Nothing's changed, correct? Okay. Like, if that is true, what does that have to do with anything? I guess because we live in liberal? Okay, here we go. This is the worst. This is one of this I actually kind of think is a joke. What do you mean we should be fighting back against Japanese aggression? What are you, pro-war? MAGA in 1941. Like, and this is what I mean. Like, so I think these people might actually not be able to understand context or differentiate between different things. What was it that I said when I reposted this? Where was it? Did I not post it? Or is it just not showing because Twitter sucks? Yeah, maybe it just didn't show it. It didn't post it because Twitter sucks. I feel like somebody just okay, it just doesn't. No, that's not it. Here we go. I can't tell if these people just don't have the ability to make distinctions or if they're trying to, or if they're propaganda. So, for those of you who don't know, don't let me try to explain this to you. Okay, so in 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and they destroyed a lot of the American Pacific Fleet. Now, the things that led up to the Japanese deciding to attack Pearl Harbor are complicated. There was a lot of back and forth between the two countries. I don't think you could say it was entirely unprovoked, but at the same time, it was they did directly attack American sovereign territory en masse, and that is an act of war. So I guess so that and they're saying that Russia invading Ukraine, which is not allied to the US, which is not part of NATO, which America has not given any kind of security guarantee to, that no one in America even really knew about before 2014, is the same thing as Japan attacking Pearl Harbor. So in this man's mind, Putin invading Ukraine is the same as Japan attacking America's Pacific Naval Base. Just let that sink in for a minute. And this is serious. I'm pretty sure this is real. So if you don't want to give Ukraine money, that means you would have been okay with Japan blowing up Pearl Harbor. Okay. So I asked, when did Russia bomb a U.S. Navy base? When did Ukraine or Israel become territories of the U.S.? Let's see. I want to see what this is. When did Russia become a territory of the Russian Federation? Okay, so this is, here you go. This is some childish shit. When did Ukraine become a territory of the Russian Federation? Okay, I think that's a legitimate question. Okay, so he said, when did Ukraine become Israel become territories of the U.S.? When did Ukraine become territory of the Russian Federation? See, this is a complete non sequitur. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, neither of those places are America. I think also they just don't believe that countries exist. So, like, Ukraine and America are the same, and every country is actually the same country. Not my concern. I shouldn't be forced to pay for it either way. So your person is not my concern. Pearl Harbor, you know. I didn't demand you be concerned about me or pay anything for me. So, okay. Let's see here. Why are you hoarding chromosomes? So this is the comeback. Let me see. It's fucking Twitter's so shit. It's gotten better under Elon. I still think it's shit though. To be honest. Let's ally with the communists. The two situations are nothing alike. The U.S. should not have been occupying Hawaii. Based. Restore the Kingdom of Hawaii. Pearl Harbor was not an unprovoked attack. Please, okay, here we go. Please, Joss, point to me where on this map Russia has attacked. So here we go. This is another, like, this is how fucking stupid these people are. I'm fairly anti-foreign aid, but the U.S. has an obvious interest in keeping Russia from becoming more powerful. What does that have to do with anything? Like, it's a complete and total, like, non sequitur. He said that Russia attacking Ukraine is the same as Japan attacking Pearl Harbor. He asked a very simple question. How? How is it the same? Show me where they attacked. And then this guy just, like, completely derails it. It's like, I gotta wonder. Something you should never do is let somebody change the topic. If they do a non sequitur, you just need to keep forcing them on it. And here we go. We have the classical liberals who are talking about how great it is that they're seizing the Ukrainian foreign assets. Okay, so who is this guy? Is there any chance this guy is a member of the tribe? I don't know. I would be shocked if this guy was not. Foot voting, migration, political freedom. I don't even really need to look at it to know. Okay. So, giving Ukraine a hefty $300 billion. Okay. So this November, I defended the idea in greater detail and addressed a variety of legal, pragmatic, and moral objections. Did this get folded in Ukraine? Okay. Why is an act of theft great? This seems problematic in that we are not engaged in any hostilities. This strikes me as a provocation. It isn't theft because Putin's mass murdering authoritarian regime isn't a legitimate owner. And the solution to its aggression is to help Ukraine defeat it. So it isn't theft because I don't like Putin. Is that what he's saying? If a government is authoritarian, it means you can just take whatever you want for them. I think that is that what he's saying? Freezing assets, Ukraine is already being aided. Being recognized, Hitler was recognized too. At most, it's a purely legal status that can be overridden by legislation. So, um, I got nothing. So am I wrong for thinking that what they're saying here is that they can just take money from like the law doesn't matter. Um, Also, I didn't realize that Putin personally owned all of the Russian state assets. It's really interesting how that works. None of those assets, they're 100% Putin's personal property. None of those assets were bought with, uh, none of these assets were bought with tax dollars. None of these assets were collectively owned. Not like what? So his because it wasn't that they were seizing Putin's personal assets. They also seized the assets of like a whole bunch of private individuals. So if a country is led by someone you don't like, you can just steal everything. All private property rights go away. What was that thing about rights are inalienable and they don't come from government? Okay. We need a free market in drugs to drive gangs out of business. Uh, I don't even think. Yeah, they aren't even standard. They're just like the Russian oligarchs. Decriminalization doesn't solve the gang problem. We need a free market in drugs to drive gangs out of business. That's definitely gonna work, guys. Why do we have Anderson Cooper? Today is a good day for democracy. The black market is the only true free market. Okay, here we go. Here's another, like, this one actually took me a while to figure out. I will believe the multipolar world is rising when Xi Jinping doesn't send his daughter to Harvard and when the Russian foreign minister doesn't wear an Apple Watch and a Basquiat? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Oh, he's some American artist. Okay. T-shirt. So, a multipolar world is one where nobody owns American products or partakes in American culture. So, because Lavrov owns an Apple Watch and likes an American artist, that means that it's not a multipolar world. That is the... Also, she sent his daughter to school at Harvard, so what? Maybe it's a better school. Maybe he wanted her to learn about the... Like, it's... I don't even get it. Like, I mean, in a multipolar world, wouldn't there not be things from other countries? I don't even get it. Um, I don't even understand how this like works. Like once again, look at this. I find it funny that these countries hate the U.S. and Western values. Um, Meanwhile, this. So you can't dislike the actions of a government and like some of the products the country makes. So if you don't like Venezuela, that means you don't like coffee. Is that what they're saying? Like, it's once again, it's hard for me to even conceptualize because it's the comments of a child. What does this? What does any of this have to do with anything whatsoever? There we go. Sounds like a multipolar world to me. Okay, so it's that is the so and they think this is genius. They think that this is an argument. 1.4 billion people. Can anyone name a single rock band? Something subversive enough to get a teenager grounded for listening to it. It's but I thought liberals liked multiculturalism. I thought that liberals wanted to know about other countries. Let's see here. To be pro working class is to be pro free markets. No, it isn't. Unions used to be anti immigration before like they decided to just go full on leftist because it depresses wages. Excessive immigration does. We stand against imperialism, including Russian imperialism. I don't know. I guess there are people who unironically believe China when they say that. China's full of shit. The Ukraine aid bill has passed the House of Representatives. Putin is seething, MAGA is seething, liberal democracy will continue to win. Fed posting. Imagine calling yourself a libertarian and then praising Congress for sending stolen money to a foreign country. Taxation is theft. They're fixed. Pretty sure it's billions on old expired weapons that your parents pay taxes for, not you. Now, that's not the case. If you look at the bill, which these people obviously didn't, it was to replenish stocks of modern weapons that the US gave. Like they don't even know any of this. It's a child. That's a good point. The U.S. government prints money, and that's what funds it. That's a very good point. Conservatism, liberalism, socialism. I don't. It's just I don't even get it. No, I mean I do get it. It's just not interesting or funny. These protests were wrong. Every squad got the. Oh, okay. Oh, the unemployed grifter. So the liberals support people being fired um over having a different opinion. That's cool. I thought they supported freedom of speech. Um, got one of the worst Star Wars memes I've ever seen. We just have to have an open border. Wasn't John Locke against immigration? I'm pretty sure he was. Is the cure to male loneliness YIMBYism? What? What? How? Is this explained? No. YIMBYism is yes in my backyard. Is there anybody around anymore who really believes the government knows how to prevent, by its present message, inflation or unemployment? But you supported them printing $100 billion and giving it to Ukraine. You can't have liberalism without capitalism. For our sake, vote liberal. Not real capitalism, not real socialism. Okay. I thought you said that real liberalism hasn't been tried. No to bricks, yes tomato. Life expectancy. I don't get it. I guess they're making fun of somebody. Blood and soil. Yeah, blood and soil is evil. You can't say that. Project Liberal happy hour in DC on Memorial Day. How many people do you think went to that? Reject isolationism, embrace liberalism. Once again, like there is an inherent authoritarian, or should I say totalitarian aspect to this. That if you notice, anytime somebody expresses an opinion they disagree with, their first response is to just attack them and to like cheer for them being deplatformed. Okay. Violent crime is falling. Violent crime is falling, guys. Let's this is reality. Okay, here's some reality, guys. Violent crime is falling fast. Climate change is looking a bit less dire. US incomes are growing fast because inflation doesn't exist. Millennials and Gen Z are doing better than their parents did. I'm gonna have to see like some citations on this one. Okay, let's see here. Homicides in the US. Okay, it's slightly lower than it was during COVID. I guess that's that. Big cities with the largest year-to-year decline in homicides. Okay. The temperature is what global actions have been taken to address climate change? I can't even like think of any. Can you? What are they even talking about? Government pledges and targets, current actions. Okay, so I guess. But wait a minute, I thought they were against government pledge. They were against government. 3 blocks. Emissions elsewhere have not. Okay. I would say I don't get it. I don't get like what the point is they're trying to make. Let's see here. Immigrants account for 1/5 of U.S. pandemic growth. Cumulative real GDP growth in the G7. Okay. Real GDP per capita. Is this inflation adjusted? Um, I don't. But does this take into account housing prices? Let's see here. Medium income after taxes and transfers, 2019 prices. So according to this, millennials and Gen Z are way wealthier adjusting for prices than people were. I'm gonna have to see like some actual um evidence of this. Does this ignore housing costs? Probably. Yes, it probably does. TikTok is not real life in graph form. The Federal Reserve. Wait, whoa! This is from the Federal Reserve. I thought that they didn't like the Federal Reserve. I thought the Federal Reserve was evil, but I guess it's good now. Generational wealth per capita. It's higher. It's higher. It just it ignore like change in real wages between its incomes becoming more equal. We have all this like these charts. Once again, the people who feel that the economy is not going well are detractors. They're evil. Total outstanding credit card balances. Uh, yeah, it's see, this proves it. This proves that credit card debt isn't a thing. It doesn't. There is no credit card debt. It doesn't exist. Oh, it's pretty amazing. I'm learning. I'm learning stuff I never knew was possible. The Dark Cloud's murderers, death, communism. Okay. But I like how they don't say like, and I've seen this from that Williams, whatever the fuck his name is, that F slur, who's like, oh, the Bidenomics is working, the economy's great, guys. Well, then why do people feel like it isn't? Like, are you saying the people are lying, or they're like detractors or something, or like they could afford a house? Now, I actually do agree with this. This is a big problem. The unwillingness to build high-density housing. Let's see here. Putin doesn't believe in God, but he believes in the power of the narrative, and he believes in the power of the church, and he believes in the power of religion. Based? Armed gays are harder to oppress and harder to bash. That's what we need more homosexual mass shooters. Uh oh, it's all America's fault. It's all America's fault. Housing is too expensive. Here's a solution. I don't want solutions. I want to blame capitalism. Well, I mean, it is in the sense that, like, capitalism is telling us to bring in 1 billion immigrants. Um, Gay rights has nothing to do with political correctness. It has to do with the No, but it does. Because as soon as it was passed, um, okay, so Jimmy John, who is a Russian bot, these disenfranchised working class whites who feel the economy is rapidly dissolving, they're a bunch of alt right MAGA chudge Russian shells. Like, isn't that the thing you should be addressing? That a lot of people don't feel that way? Like, isn't that something that we should be like thinking about? Like, I like how they just don't even care. Like, they just tell the people to fuck off. Like, millennials who feel they're having trouble, millennials who feel they can't afford a house, they just tell them that they're delusional, to go fuck themselves, that they don't care about them because of human decency. Let's see here. Yeah, here's another one. This is another one of their super cringe. What once was normal is now seen as extreme. What once was extreme is now seen as normal. Because they don't keep in mind they don't believe in citizenship. So legal immigration is the same as breaking into a country, and building a wall within your own country to restrict movement is the same as building a border wall. Is actually what they believe, because they don't believe in citizenship. So context. Well, no, but context doesn't matter. Um, and that is the you're not happy that laws can be enforced. Yeah, they aren't. That's part of liberalism, is not enforcing laws. Um, okay, how politically normal of you? I think I got one or two out of this. What was my? Let me see. What was my? I think I made a funny comment under this. Where is it that what I said? Okay, it's not there. Um, I said celebrate freedom of speech by bragging about how much you agree with everybody. Um, okay, let's see here. This is the future that liberals want. It's just open borders. The peace plan, get the fuck out of our country. We can't negotiate with our enemies. Uh, uh, oh, here we go. What is the online rights obsession with the term military age men to describe illegal immigrants? It's such a weird way to describe youngish men. Would you walk? I mean, would you walk around college campus and be like, "Wow, there sure are a lot of military age men here"? Well, I mean, they do. Like, that's the big question. That's a big question that they're having in Ukraine at the moment. Is you have a bunch of military age men who are going to school, and the question is, do you conscript them and throw them into the fire or not? Um, let's see. It comes down to Trump himself and the unpredictability of his personality. As a result of that, the world has started to lose faith in the United States. We've become the weakling. Really? The world was losing faith because of Trump? Has there been a single, like, W in Biden's entire term? Ukraine, Ukraine exploded under him. Afghanistan collapsed. The Middle East exploded. There's tension with China. The Houthis shut down the Red Sea. We have Francis Fukuyama, that F slur. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Immigrants are a drain on our society. 79% of pharmaceutical patents were created by a scientist born abroad. Is that patents in America? What? Yes, MS 13 members are known for their pharmaceutical contributions. Well, they don't think there's a difference between legal and illegal immigration, so they think that this is a burn. Now, I don't believe that this is real. I think that this is fake. I don't even know if this. It doesn't even say born. Are these patents within the U.S. or outside of the U.S.? We all want in a liberal society where our enemies are silenced by the state. Is that what MAGA says though? Like, does MAGA want censorship? That's not a MAGA thing. That might be something I'd say, but um, okay. Well, once again, I mean, the New York Times published a article explaining how the U.S. had like 14 bases and they were using it to run ops against Russia. Uh, Unlike you snowflakes, I'm not so easily triggered. Pronouns in bio. Yeah, but like once again, they don't understand context. Like as part of this whole thing, it's important to keep in mind that these people will literally like put you in jail. They'll get you fired. They will, if you don't respect their fucking pronouns that they like made up, then it is just an act. Like the pronouns in the bio are, I guess you could say, an act of violence. It's saying you have to say this. If you don't say what I tell you to say, then I'm going to then I'm going to put you in jail. Oh, what is this? What does this mean? What is a liberal country? I don't even know what that means. I don't know. It's just it's a liberal country. Oh, here's another amazing one. This is once again, these people have no conception of like context or differentiation. Okay, so do not comply with unconstitutional mask mandates or vaccination policies, but the government can enforce immigration law. See what I mean? Like a child? Um, it's a child wrote this. And this is an interesting thing I've noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the left has just completely embraced anarchism, and I use that completely like unironically. Like, isn't this an anarchist position? That uh here we go. Yeah. um so Was any legislation ever actually passed to do any of this? Wasn't this all done during regulate like during? I don't like a Jew on this post. You hate America, so it's just it's based. Who is the constituency for this? You hate America, so it's this new talking point. Like this is what John Leibowitz came up with. We can't enforce basic rules because we live in a society. Um. Okay, but I think the conservatives' complaint was there wasn't any law. I think actual law passed regarding either of these. It was just something that governments decided to do. Um. Also, didn't they just impose criminal punishments without like passing any legislation? Um, B, there's a lot of arguments that this is unconstitutional. And C, they're American citizens. They're American citizens complaining about their rights granted by the Constitution, not just random foreigners. But they don't believe citizenship exists, and because of that, nothing they post makes sense. Uh, uh, I personally call it a type of government which can be removed without violence, democracy, and the other tyranny. Well, but it can't, though. Um, okay. Okay, here we go. Trump endorses the speedy execution of accused drug dealers. Wow. That is a burn. He wants to kill drug dealers? Uh well, that's rough. It's rough, man. Glory to Iran. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So here's some more stuff. What are you wearing? It's a pride shirt. I didn't know. Okay, well, like, okay, so recently, like, here's an example from last week. The Georgian government tried to pass legislation that required foreign political organizations that get most of their funding from other people, from other countries, to report that. And the U.S. paid like tens of thousands of people to riot. That's just, when did you start playing for the Miami Dolphins? Okay. I'm going. We'll stop once we reach something that's really cringy. It was one of the worst ones I've ever seen. It's okay. It should come by at some point. It's like one of the worst things I've ever seen. Okay, well, we will end this stream. There's just one more I wanted to cover. Like, we should invade Mexico. Hell yeah, we should help Ukraine defend themselves. No, this is pro-war. Like, there's no context. No, there was a huge protest in Georgia. Yeah. Foreign agents bill. Uh, after mass protest. Yeah, no, they reintroduced it, and I believe that they passed it. Okay, let's see here. What? Where? Okay. They just keep reposting the same memes over and over again a lot of the time. I'm just trying. If I can't find it in the next like 2 minutes, then I'll just go to my timeline and we'll look at it there. States' rights to do what? States' rights to do what? I like how they're against. Okay, so they're against state rights. Um, because it was one of the things with like the least self awareness. I think of. Okay, we'll just go to my timeline where I posted it. Where is it? Oh. There's been a lot of good memes this week. This one I think is really funny. I love Stone Toss is the best. Oh, this LBJ political compass is amazing. Just trying to find it. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where it is. Oh, one of them got deleted? Oh, okay. Maybe that was the one that got deleted. Maybe they deleted it because they were so ashamed. Okay. Fuck. Twitter timelines are such shit. I think they might have deleted it, actually. It's hard because, like, Twitter is so shitty. It's almost impossible to, like, look things up on it. Okay. So I think the guy deleted it. Maybe I put it on Discord. Let me see here. Yes, I did put it. It was the one about the different. Actually, let me see. Where did I put my phone? Let me just. I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of it. So. Just trying to find it. Here we go. Okay, so this was April 18th. Maybe they deleted it? Yeah, maybe they deleted it, or I just missed it. Okay, let's see here. Wow, that was... Okay. A history of right-wing moral panic in the USA. Now, this is amazing, the total lack of self-awareness we have here. Satanists are coming for your kids. I mean, was that wrong? I don't really... the satanic panic, I think, was kind of excessive. But now we have, like, Baphomet statues and all kinds of shit. Muslims are coming for your kids. Well, I mean, but that happened in Europe. They had literal rape gangs. Like, there was what was Rotherham? What was there was that big thing, and was it Frankfurt or Hamburg? I mean, yeah, that happened. They did 100%. That happened. I mean, what? Okay, but Muslims did come for their kids. That was a massive issue. More so in Europe than the United States, but like they did. There was rape gangs, there was child trafficking, there was all kinds of shit. That stuff like led to a lot of the current politics in the US. Gay people are coming for your kids. I mean, they did though. I mean, literally the entirety of the sex abuse crisis was gays infiltrating the clergy to molest little boys. Like, we're ephebophiles. Also, trans people literally take your kids away. Like in Canada, if you don't let your kid, like even if they're like 8 years old, get their dick chopped off, then they'll take your kid away. They will go to your kid and they'll tell them that that they're actually the opposite gender, and then if you tell them no, that's not true, then they will take your kid away. They'll take your kid away and stuff like that. And that is like all of these happened. This is his big flex. This is his big flex. Would literally all of these happen. I don't get this whole like gay rights are not infringing on other people. Like when gay marriage passed, they immediately in a lot of country, like I remember one story that sticks out to me is they banned the father-daughter dance. I forget, it was someplace in New England because you couldn't do that anymore. In Spain, they took father and mother off of birth certificates. It was progenitor A, progenitor B. I don't know. Literally all of these happened. Anyways, that's about all this I could take. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. God bless everybody. And just remember, you may be cringe, but you're not.